Hi, it's wonderful to be here and to be moving with you. If you're sitting down, we're actually going to start standing. So with your ankles under your knees, notice if you scoot your feet back, bring your feet forward, outer edges of feet closer to straight. Watch the pattern. Do your thighs do this, or more commonly, do they drop in? Thighs steady, push down, and come up to stand. And my feet were actually a little closer than hip distance apart, so I'm going to bring them in to hip distance apart. Keep in mind when we're coming into alignment, it's not that we want to be robots. As I've said before, we want to be able to move in all ways, but working on moving with particular alignments will help build muscle balance, will help build circulation in more parts of the body. And one way we pay attention to alignment is front to back. So you can do this with me. If you push your hips forward, it puts a different load on your feet, your knees, your lower back than when you back your hips up. So there's front to back, which changes where you're putting the load on your structure. And then what we're going to do next is there's side to side, which is also changing the load that you put on your structure. When you go over to this side, you're putting more load on this leg. When you go over to this side, you're putting more load on this leg. Now, this particular movement is wonderful because it's maybe a first step to creating legs that help to support you to balance better, because you're just shifting your weight to one side, shifting your weight to the other side. As you shift, you can also kind of push down and hug in, and you can shift and press down and hug in like you're doing the first stage of a pelvic lift. But let's just go side to side here a few times. Think hips back over the heels, so your weight is over your heels. Relaxing any clenching around your hips and thighs, steady feet. All right, and then bring your hips to center, and with our thumbs pointing forward, we'll sweep our arms up and we'll pull our arm bones straight back and sweep up and pull straight back and sweep up and pull straight back and sweep up and pull straight back. And then you can relax your arms there, shift your hips to the right, hold, and sweep your arms up here and pull back. And arms sweep up and pull back. Let's do two more like that. And now next time your arms are in the air, pause, shift your hips to the left, hold there, and sweep your arms back and back up. And then come back to center and relax your arms down. Okay, for just a moment, come around to the back of your chair. Walk back with two straight arms, two straight legs, not dropping your torso too low, just pushing your hips back a little, checking the outer edges of your feet, and remembering everything starts with the outer edge of the feet. So if you have a big turnout, turn in a little. If you have a small turnout, spin those heels as wide as your pinky toe. You're specifically looking to line up your outer pinky toe bone with your outer ankle bone. Ankles hip distance apart, which is those two ASIS bones going straight down into your ankles, and then back your hips up over your heels. So our first three alignment cues. How about sitting back here, noticing, so not only do we have alignment from front to back and side to side, but there's also rotation. So when we're sitting back in a chair pose, we've learned, do my knees fall open? Do my knees cave in? That's a rotation of your thigh bones. And the same thing goes for when you're standing. Are my thighs turning in or turning out too much even when my legs are straight? It's easier to see when your knees are bent if your legs collapse in one way or the other. And it might not be the same for when your legs are straight. Let's go to straight legs one more time. Back your weights up over your heels. Now, one thing you can practice here, and eventually you can do it with your body standing all the way up, is you can see if you can lift your kneecaps up and down. And that's when, after you're able to relax the front of your thighs, you practice hips over heels a lot, then that's when you start rotating your thigh bones into neutral. Let's sit back into your chair squat with your arms nice and long one more time. Straight leg really helps us get into the whole back of the body. Bent knees just takes a little bit out of the legs, even though it's working the legs, and helps us lengthen the spine a little bit more. And then press on up, and you can come around to your seat. And with your feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance, just start to sit back a little bit, and keep in mind that we don't know if our thighs are rolling out or in until our feet are really straight. That's what gives us an accurate picture of, am I really rolling my thighs in or out? Because someone could have their feet turned out to the side slightly, and then they're like, oh no, my knees aren't rolling in. But if they turn their feet straight, they might find that their knees roll in. So always start your way down from the bottom and work up. Sit back in your chair, sit up nice and tall, walk your feet nice and wide, outer edges of feet straight, inner thighs open, arms out to the side, palms face down, and reach your right arm across. And as you go across, do so without turning your torso. And reach your left arm across, and open, and right arm. Breathing, left arm, and right arm, left arm. Next time your right arm goes over, hold on. Every time we'll hold on, not on the lower arm, but on the upper arm. Pull out. Notice if when you pull out, your torso turns to the left. Actually turn your torso a little to the right as you pull your arm across to the left. And then switch, palm face down, pull out on your upper arm. As your arm goes to the right, turn your torso a little bit to the left. So this whole time, you keep bringing your awareness back to the rotation of your thigh bones. Do they roll in? Do they overly roll out? So if they always roll in, for a while it's okay to overly roll them out. If they always roll out, for a while it's probably okay to let them roll in a little bit, but eventually we're coming back to center. Okay, open your arms, this time thumbs up. Reach your right arm across, chest height, left arm across. Your arm might not go as far when you keep it lower, but that's okay. Right arm and left arm, tuning into your breath. And right arm and left arm and right arm and left arm. All right, right arm goes across, hold onto the upper arm. As you pull out to the left, turn your torso very slightly to the right. It doesn't even look like it's turning. And then switch, opposite arm goes across. So in general, you start with the bigger muscle groups, like are my hips and thighs rolling in or out? And then eventually, when you can stabilize your bigger muscle groups, you start checking, do my ankles always roll in or out? But you start with one and you slowly bring in others so that your nervous system doesn't get overwhelmed, so that your body has time to adapt. All right, and then release that arm. Now let's do palms face up. Really rotate your palms up. Right arm and left arm. And right arm and left arm. Right arm, left arm, and right arm holds. Pull out on the upper arm, turn your torso slightly to the right as your arm goes to the left. Check the tilt of your pelvis and switch. Palm up, left arm across, gently pull it across to the right as your torso subtly turns to the left. Check the rotation of your thigh bones. And then come out from there, walk your feet in, stretch your legs nice and straight. Now with your outer edges of your feet straight and your legs really straight, you might be able to see, oh, my kneecaps look like they slightly roll in towards each other. Well, the kneecaps can be a clue, but if we're getting really accurate, we're trying to pay attention to the lines on the back of the knee. But while you're here, go ahead and do some dynamic side bends, going side to side, feeling the sides of your hips, the sides of your waist, the sides of your rib cage, the sides of your armpit. And I'll just try to show you here. On the back of your leg, you have two lines, and those are the lines you're paying attention to. And for a lot of people, not everyone, those lines slightly turn out to the side, and you need to bring them back to center. Less common is them turning in and bring them back to center, but most common is turning out to the side. This is not the case for everyone, but it is quite common. So, but after a while, once you get familiar with where are the lines on the back of my leg, then you can start to see even your kneecaps. Your right kneecap will look like it's very slightly turned to the right, and your left kneecap will look like it's very slightly turned to the left on a lot of bodies when the lines on the back of the knee point either straight to the floor or straight behind you when you're standing. Let's do one more, each arm. All right, so from here, bend your right knee, keep your left leg straight, just rotate your thigh bone a few times. And then if you can, feel those lines and turn so those lines point straight to the floor, and you'll probably notice your knee goes slightly out. Now because your foot's not on the ground, your foot is going a tiny little bit out to the side too, and that's okay. But when we're standing, we want our foot straight and still to have that neutral thigh bone rotation. All right, switch legs, rotate that thigh bone. Try to make sure you're rotating from the top of the thigh. I see all the time people going like this. See, I'm just turning my foot, maybe the ankle, maybe the lower leg. Rotate from the top of the thigh. The first step to having your thigh bone in neutral more often is just getting range of motion back in your hip rotators. And then stay and see if you can feel those lines on the back of your knee and turn them until they look like they're pointing straight down to the ground rather than slightly crooked. And if you're just feeling like, I'm not sure, that's okay. That's how I felt for a long time. Just approximate, especially if you see your knee turning in. If you don't see your knee turning in, then you might not have internally rotated thigh bones. All right, and then from there, bring that leg back, and let's actually stretch both legs nice and straight. And we'll hold on to the chair, bend your elbows, hug them so they point straight back, and rotate your thigh bones. All the way one way, all the way the other way. Flex your ankles the whole time. Try to rotate from the top of the thigh bone. All right, and then bend your knees, grab your block or whatever you have, an upside down garbage can, any little lift, put it in front of your right foot, put your heel up, and every angle we do, you might have to adjust and readjust to get it just right. Try to keep your leg very straight and rotate forward any amount. And you notice, don't worry about your foot now, does my kneecap always slightly roll in? Pay more attention to the lines on the back of the knee, rotate them so they face straight down towards the floor at each angle we go into. Work on keeping your leg really straight and really rotating from the pelvis, which might mean that you're just sitting up tall. So if you can just keep your legs straight and sit up really tall on your pelvis, that's excellent. Okay, we're gonna take this block. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So pace yourself, take it out a little bit to 2, and then just notice what is the rotation of the lines on the back of the knee, and hinge forward, straight over your leg. Try to straighten that leg as much as possible, rotating from the pelvis. Now let's say you're here and your knee just really doesn't want to stay straight, or you're not rotating from your pelvis, your lower back is rounded and you can feel it is, and it's hard to get your pelvis tilting, or it's really challenging to get your ankle to flex. Focus on those things for months or longer before you start bringing in the rotation of your thigh bone. Okay, come back. Walk it out to 3 and take your foot out. Check on the rotation of your thigh bone. Line up those lines so they point straight down, and hinge forward any amount here. Breathing. And come up, and let's walk out to 4. Now try to Just stretch your leg out to the side, not turn your hips. So don't take the block so far out if it requires turning your hips, and check, where are those lines on the back of the knee? If you tend to roll in, you're gonna roll open a little bit. Just keep in mind when I say rotate your thigh bones to neutral throughout class, you need to check to make sure your thigh bones aren't already in neutral. Like, the cue is not for everyone. I'm not telling everyone just to turn their thigh bones out. That's why you have to pay attention to where these little markers are, where your bones are, where these lines are, so that you can tell how does my body get to neutral. And of course, when it comes to rotating the thigh bones, come on up. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Let's keep that leg out here. Let's keep that leg out here. Sit up tall, and let's circle our arms up and down. When it comes to rotating your thigh bones in neutral, you're not starting from a very accurate place unless the outer edges of your feet are straight. So you have to really check on that. Don't take it for granted. I've been working with private clients for many years, and probably still the #1 cue I tell people is turn your feet straighter. Like, they feel like they're straight, but they're not all the way straight. When it comes to my own body, I can constantly adjust my feet to be a little straighter. And I've been practicing this for over a decade. I've just accepted this is part of my life. But the more that I practice, the better my balance gets, the more stable I feel, the less issues tend to pop up in my body. So it's worth it, because it's a small little check, and I can do it more often. I think of it like brushing my teeth. That's a lifelong habit. Okay, bring that foot in. Stretch your left leg straight ahead. So not only work on all the things we've been working on, but check those knees, and one thigh might roll in or out more than the other. Rotate forward from your pelvis. And just like when you start rotating your pelvis and your knee wants to bend, your thigh bone might want to rotate too. All right, slide that block out to 2. Extend out, check the rotation of your thigh bone, and rotate forward from your pelvis. And let's go out to 3. So can these small movements make a big difference? So many people already have told me they have. I've had people who check the rotation of your thigh bone who have told me that turning their feet slightly straight has eliminated over time a decade-long battle with sciatica. I've had multiple people I've worked with back their hips up over their heels and greatly reduced pelvic floor issues. I've had hamstring attachment issues that were long-term disappear, lower back issues disappear. Rotating your thigh bones just goes in with everything else. If you have knee issues, if you have lower back issues, it can help all of those things over time. Pelvic floor issues. All right, let's go out to number 4. Remember, try to keep your hips straight ahead. Check the rotation of your thigh bone. Check the knee lines. Hinge forward, breathing here. So think about it. You can't tell unless your feet are straight, but if your feet are straight and your thighs are doing this, what's supposed to be on the side of your thigh has moved. What's supposed to be on the front of your thigh has moved. Your inner thigh has moved. So then when you're moving, you don't have the same leverage through those muscles. Which means if you don't have the ability to use more parts of a muscle, so not only just the muscle itself, but more parts of the muscle, you're not only, your joints are not going to be as stable, but also you're missing circulation. You'll start not having as much circulation in certain areas of your body. So it definitely makes a difference, and thigh bone rotation is one that I've spent a long time working on. The other ones, this has helped me a lot, but it's one that I need to pay attention to even more often. All right, keep your legs there, sit up tall, and circle your arms up and down. Reach out through your upper back and chest muscles. It's the same thing with your arms, If your arms are always here, it's going to be different than your arms are here, versus if your arms are here, it uses different muscles than here. And there's the rotation. If your arms are here, it uses different muscles than when your arms are here. So, and we want to use all of them, but we want to check to where we are habitually. And I could feel that thigh bone rolling in as I was working on my arms. All right, let's do 2 more like this. And then from there, take your leg off, bring that block in front of your left foot, reach your leg across. So you can go as far as you can. There's not as much room to go across, so we're just doing 1 here. Check the rotation of your thigh bone. Lines on the back of the knee, hinge forward any amount here. And you know that meme, I've probably talked about this before, if you've seen memes before, there's like, some people think success is a straight line. Like, oh, I'm gonna start here and I'm gonna go here. But really success is like all over the place, and then you do get there eventually. That's how this movement practice is. You might be a person who's like throwing yourself over your leg and I've got flexibility and I don't feel a lot. You start working on thigh bone rotation, position of your feet, position of your legs. Over time, the deeper nerves start waking up. I don't know necessarily deeper, but all the nerves start waking up more. You start feeling more sensation. Next thing you know, you don't even need to fold over at all. You're just sitting up tall and you can feel plenty of sensation in your muscle. And so it feels like you took a step back, but really you're feeling so much more. Okay, let's switch. Step your foot across, check your thigh bone rotation. If thigh bone rotation isn't an issue for you, it's just something to check on every once in a while. But if it is for you, you'll probably recognize it pretty quickly and you'll be like, oh, I need to pay attention to this too. Want to get those kneecaps lifting up and down easily though, first, so that you're not using the tension in the front of your thighs to turn your thigh open. You want to use your deep hip rotators. All right, come on out. You can use the block at lowest height, medium height, highest height. I think I'm gonna go for highest height. You can have it further away, you could do it in closer. I did this earlier and I did it farther away, so I'm gonna do it closer to me. Soles of the feet together, knees dropping open, tilt your pelvis upright. Hands can rest kind of on your knees. Right hand, thumb points up, right hand. And then you're going to draw a circle with your arm as close to your body and as big as you can, meaning as close to your body when you get to your body, without torso turning. So you can, of course, get your arm to go further if you move your torso. I want you to try to move your arm and your shoulder joint as much as you can with your torso facing the same direction. And then pause wherever you are and circle in the other direction, keeping that torso really stable. And depending on your speed, 2 or 3 in each direction, pause your right hand, left thumb points forward, tilt your pelvis upright, and try to circle without turning the torso. I caught my torso turning a little bit. Breathing, work within the boundaries of your body. So it's like the whole circle is kind of in front of you for the most part. Pause and circle in the other direction. You might get a little bit behind you right back there. Cracking or popping, go slower. If you didn't switch directions, switch directions. I think we might have already switched directions. That's okay. A few more arm circles won't hurt. All right, pause. Press down a little on your thighs above your knees and maybe hinge forward a little bit. Rotate from the pelvis, relax the shoulders. Move your head a little side to side. Turn your neck a little side to side. And then come back up and take your feet off of there, and let's slide that block out of the way. Reach your legs long, hold onto the chair, rotate your thigh bones out. So when you're standing, essentially this is kind of the direction you're going, out, but your feet won't turn out. And from here, straighten your arms any amount, leaning forward, bend your elbows, try to point them straight back. Straighten your arms any amount. This doesn't work very good unless you're on the front edge of your chair, and bend back, and straighten, and bend back, and straighten, and bend back. Now rotate your thigh bones in. Now, even though a lot of us tend to be slightly internally rotated, we're not super internally, some people are super internally rotated. Turn your thigh bones in, and you might feel like it's tight there, and part of that is because we spend a lot of time somewhat internally rotated. So hold internal rotation, straighten your legs, elbows go out, elbows point straight back without lifting the ribs. Elbows out and point straight back. Elbows out and point straight back, and elbows out and point straight back. Hold with your rotating your thighs in. Can you relax any clenching up your inner thighs into your groin area? Can your pelvis tilt upright a little more? Good. Turn your thigh bones back and bend your knees. And then from here, let's lean all the way back in our chair. So sit all the way back, scoot your butt all the way back. So this is going to differ depending on the height of your chair, and it's okay if your chair is higher. It's no problem. You'll just be bending from a different part. But think of your ribs staying down and back. So in other words, when we bend back, our ribs might tend to push forward. Think of keeping your ribs down and back. Interlace your hands behind your head. You can lean all the way back in your chair. Try to keep your ribs tucking in, and just see how far back you can lean your head. And at first it feels like it's not going to happen at all, and I'm just amazed over time how much further I can lean back. And bring your head back up. Think ribs dropping down. Really make sure that you've got a good interlace. I kind of stretch my thumbs down to my neck. You want your head to feel super supported and not like it's working at all. And come back up. Head nice and supported. When you lean back, you are not leaning your head back. You're keeping your chin down. You're bending back from your mid-spine. And come back up. And one more. Lean back, bend back, hold, breathing, chin down, back of the neck is long. Smooth inhales and exhales, front ribs tucking in from the front. Might feel some core work, shaking a little, or belly stretching, or armpits, or arms working, and bring yourself up. Okay, scoot back to the front edge of your chair. Pick up one of your blocks and put it between your hands at the widest width, and I'll just try to show you. I figured out I might need a different colored block when I'm wearing black, but this is the widest width, this is the second widest width, and this is the narrowest width. So, widest width, use your hands without using your fingers, squeeze it, lift your arms up into the air, tilt your pelvis upright, twist your belly button to the right, twist your belly button to the left, come back to center. So just while we're here, we can check. Are my feet in or out? Are my ankles forward or back? Or that was back and then forward? Are my knees in or out? So you see how we're really in some ways checking rotation all the time. Let's turn the block, bring our hands down, turn the block to the second widest width. Reach our arms into the air, squeeze the block, turn your belly button to the right, turn your belly button to the left, unwind, bring your hands down, thinnest width, squeeze the block between your hands, lift your arms up into the air. If at any time it's not a good width for the block, go back to the wider width. Turn your belly button to the right, and turn your belly button to the left. That goes for what we do next. Come back down and bend your elbows down. Okay, from here, let's go ahead and do the block back at the widest width between your forearms, and lift your forearms up and hug the block there. Sit up tall, side bend to the right, side bend to the left, come back up, twist to the right, and twist to the left, back to center, little lifts up and down, and up without lifting the ribs, and down, and up, and down, and up, and down. And then come to center, turn and look over your right shoulder, hold, feel the twist of the neck muscles, breathing. Turn and look over your left shoulder, hold, breathing here. You can check even right here. Do your thighs always roll out? Do your thighs always roll in? Are they wider? Are they closer? Are they back? Are they forward? Always applies. Bring your head back to center, lower the block down, turn to the second widest width, squeeze the block. Let's go to the left first. Side bend to the left and side bend to the right. Come up, twist your belly to the left and twist your belly to the right. Back to center, lifts up and down, and up and down. Breathing, it can be small, up and down, and up and down. About center yourself, drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Soften your face, relax your jaw. Left ear to the left shoulder. Breathing here, check on your feet, do your ankle. So for me, it's not so much my legs anymore, but now my ankles do roll a little bit in and out. Bring your head up, lower the block down. How about the narrowest width? If it doesn't feel good, go back to a wider width. Hold the block up, side bend to the right, side bend to the left, back to center, pelvis upright, twist to the right, and twist to the left, back to center. Lift and lower, lift and lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. Oh, I'm feeling this. Hold and drop your forehead towards the block. Maybe it even touches. See if you can relax your shoulders at all. Breathing here. And bring your head up and lower your arms down. And you can put that block out of the way and spin around to a lunge. Slide your knee back right underneath your hip. Tuck your toes under. And how about rolling from tips of toes towards bottom of toes? Tips of toes, bottom of toes. Let's say you're doing this and you're thinking, I just don't have that range of motion in my foot. No big deal. Just stay in your lunge. Just sitting here with your toes slightly tucked under and your thigh opening is the first step. So don't worry about not having a range of motion. That's exactly why you're here. Okay, now hold there and roll your ankle from big toe to pinky toe side. Make it stable. In other words, it's not this. You're not just kind of like falling to one side. It's small, just to the pinky toe, not further, just to the big toe. And can you feel how when you're moving your foot, you feel things up here moving around? It's all connected. That's why what your feet are doing are so important, especially to the hips. All right, from there, slide your back leg forward, feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Do you scoot back? Do your thighs go in or out? Stabilize, push down, press up, walk around to the other side of the chair, feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance. Watch what happens to your thigh rotation as you sit down. Slide your knee back into a lunge, knee right under the hip, and rock from your tips of your toes back towards the bottom of your toes. Breathing here. Look at my arm bone. You see my arm bone? Elbows out to the side. That's something I need to work on my rotations more often. But it takes time to kind of build your foundation. But then over time, you just work on everything a little bit, everything a little bit. All right, stay and from pinky toe to big toe, side of the foot. The most important part of this practice, which is, in some ways I'm very thankful that I started with just a teacher who perhaps wasn't alignment based, but that was just all about, this is your journey, be kind to yourself, be patient. And then I went to meditation, which is even more of be kind to yourself, be compassionate with yourself, be patient with yourself. It's not easy to do this work if you don't have some of those qualities. If you're kind of, a type A kind of personality focused on a little bit of perfectionism, this work is fun in that way. But if you don't have the compassion, it will be really hard to stay with it because your body works at its own pace. All right, slide that leg forward, feet straight, ankles hip distance apart, push down. Now let's say that you have got all this pretty solid. When you lean forward, can you lean forward a tiny bit less and still try to get up? Whoa, more work for the legs when you do that. Okay, come back around to the front of the chair, feet straight, ankles hip distance, sit back nice and slowly, lean back in your chair. It's okay if your buttocks are forward. Hug your knee in, you can hold onto your thigh, you can hold on your shin. What does your leg always do? Is it out here? Is it in here? Most people's leg is a little bit narrow in, they don't realize. Line it up with your outer ASIS bone. Does your lower leg go to one side or the other? Because whatever you're seeing when you're relaxing and you're comfortable, if your leg's here, chances are it's doing something like this when you're walking all the time. All right, point. Try to feel all 5 toes point and flex. Actively flex. Point, actively flex. And point, actively flex. Point, hold. Try to feel all 5 toes. You get a little cramping, you back off. But it's not a bad thing. It means things are waking up. Actively flex. Spread all 5 of your toes. Big toe down, little toes up. Little toes down, big toe up. And switch legs. Hug it in, thigh or shin. Notice in, out, in line with hip, lower leg, rotation. Sometimes the lower leg is the rotation of the thigh bone. And point all 5 toes and flex. And for whatever reason, this top of the foot is so much tighter than my other side today. Point, curl all your toes, flex. Point, curl all your toes, hold, breathing. Relax your shoulders. And flex, spread all your toes nice and wide. Big toe down, little toes up. Little toes down, big toe up. And release, put that foot down, push down to come up, come around to the back of your chair. Grab whatever you're using for a calf stretch. Put it under the ball of your right foot. So now there's even more to pay attention to. Feet straight, ankles hip distance. What's the rotation of your thigh bones? And from here, let's push down through our left leg, or right leg, excuse me, and maybe step your left foot forward and back. But while you're doing this, you could pay attention to the rotation of the standing leg thigh bone. More challenging when it's one leg as opposed to 2 legs. So the first step just more often would be to check, where are my thigh bones when my feet are straight? Oh, my knees are rolling in. Let me rotate them open. Oh, can I lift my kneecaps up and down? All day long, pelvis in neutral, checking, checking, and checking, which is what I need to be doing. And then you can start playing with it while you're moving or on one leg. Okay, next time your left foot is back, start with your right arm, left foot back. Start with your left arm forward, your right arm back. And as you step forward, switch. And breathing. All right, switch legs. Ball of the foot up, heel down. Another element to pay attention to is the rotation of the thigh bone, with kneecaps able to relax and push down through that hip. Step forward and back. A little goes a long way. Are you clenching anything? When you first start putting your bones into different positions, you're using the muscles in slightly different ways. Things might start clenching up again just when you got to a place where you're like, oh, I'm starting to relax. There's that squiggly line going all over the place. All right, start with your right foot back, your right arm forward, left arm back. We're exaggerating our arm swing. Switch as you step forward and back. And then the cool part is you work on these subtle things and all your movement becomes slowly adapting to just being better for your body all the time, even when you're not paying as close attention, which is just awesome to me. Okay, step off of there. So when you're first working on balance, with a thigh bone rotation, really good to go back to holding onto a chair. You might have gotten good at your foot straight, your hips back over your heels, even lifting your kneecap up and down on one leg, but then you have to rotate and that might be holding onto the chair might be good. Still much harder for me to rotate on this leg. From here, lift your leg out and tap in, lift in front, tap in, lift behind, tap in, lift out, lift forward slightly, like forward out to the side, lift back and out to the side, lower down, turn around or flip your chair around, feet closer to straight, ankles closer to hip distance, thigh bone rotation, push down, maybe see if you can lift your kneecap up and down, so much more challenging on one leg. Keep working on two legs if it's not happening yet. Lift out and tap. It took me a long time before I could work on neutral rotation on one leg. Slightly forward and slightly back. Tap in. One more set. And out to the side and slightly forward and slightly back. Okay, face your chair. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. So it's the same thing as I mentioned when you're sitting down into a chair squat and your feet are straight. Sometimes your thighs roll in, sometimes they roll out. Chances are if your thighs roll in pretty good when your knees are bent, they're gonna roll in when your legs are straight. Press up, walk out to two, sit back. It's the same thing with our legs straight. We have to make that adjustment and it's a rotation of the thigh bones. Press up, walk out to three. Before you're even sitting back, start rotating your thigh bones into neutral as you sit back. And press up and walk out to four and rotate those thigh bones into neutral before you even sit back. And press up. It's different when your knees are bent versus straight. Okay, your feet are nice and wide, warrior stance. Be careful if you're like me and you're tripping over all your stuff. Turn your right toes out 90 degrees, reach your arms out to the side, bend into a warrior two, rotate your arm bones all the way one way, all the way the other way, and back to internal rotation. Left leg pressing nice and straight, slowly straighten the right leg and bend in. If your knee goes past your ankle, don't bend so far or make your stance wider. Slowly straighten. If your leg snaps straight, try to go slower and slowly bend it. So as you're doing this and your foot is straight, as you bend, a lot of people's knee will go towards the big toe. The rotation is rotating it towards the center of the foot. So it's something you've been doing in yoga classes all along. Just kind of know the reasons why now. Good. And slowly straighten. And then turn your palms up, turn your right foot in. You can give your arms a break, turn your left foot out, and bend into your knee, steering the thigh over the center of the foot. Rotate one way, rotate the other way, rotate. This time rotate palms up, keep turning as much as you can, slowly straighten the leg, but practice the rotation of the thigh bone as you straighten and bend. Breathing here. It all starts with a straight edge of the foot. All right, turn that foot in, turn your right toes out, check the foot first, bend into the knee, keep working on that rotation as you reach your right arm up and tap, extend and tap, extend and tap, extend and tap, hold, slowly straighten the leg, look down, is your thigh bone rotating in? Can you rotate it open? And lean back a little bit here, breathing. You can reach your hand up and pull back a little if you want to. I just feel good right here. And come back up and turn your toes in, left toes out, bend the knee, work on that rotation, weight back in the heels, reach your left arm up and tap and extend. Tap, extend, tap, extend, tap, extend, tap, hold, slowly straighten the leg, maybe check the rotation with the foot straight, bend back here, breathing, back leg nice and straight. You can reach up with your other hand. All right, come up, turn that foot in, turn your right foot out, rotation of your thigh bones, this one going maybe slightly this way, this one this way, depending on where the lines on the back of the knees are. Tip over triangle pose, top hand into the air, turn it behind you, wrap, extend. Doesn't matter where it goes, if possible. Every time, touch someplace slightly different. You can use your hand to slightly feel your thigh bone turn into neutral. From up here, even more so. Next time your elbow's bent behind you, bend that knee and hold, turn your torso open. Maybe put your hand a little more behind your back and extend that arm, pull yourself up, turn your toes in, turn your left toes out, check the rotation of the thigh bones, tip over triangle pose, reach your top arm, turn your hand behind you and wrap, sometimes closer to your buttocks, sometimes closer to your spine. Breathing, you can use your hand to help your tissues a little bit, even though it's coming from the bone. But sometimes if the tissues are sticky, the bone doesn't want to turn very much. So we're paying attention to our bone, but this is why massage is a great tool for helping us. All right. And then bend into that knee and hand or elbow to the knee. Turn open from your torso, maybe slide your hand down toward your buttocks or behind your back a little more and reach your arm up and press up. All right, feet parallel, face your chair, outer edges are very straight as you back your hips up. Play with rotating your thigh bones to neutral, wherever that might be for you. Come up with your torso, walk into 3. Check the outer edges of the feet first. Maybe work on the rotation of the thigh bones. Maybe lift your kneecaps up one or two times to make sure that your quads are a little bit relaxed. And come up and walk into 2. And work on the rotation of the thigh bones. Straighten the legs all the way. And walk into 1. And as you do it, sometimes you'll just be like, oh, this is exactly what my hips needed. Rotation of the thigh bones, backing your weight up into your heels. Okay, so that rotation of the thigh bones definitely helps us when balancing because it gets the legs that are supposed to be on the sides of our thigh more on the sides of our thigh. So that when we do our pelvic list, we've got that pressing down action. Here's an exercise you can do to help strengthen your outer hips that it's not the way we use our legs when we're balancing, but it helps work on those muscles. So walk, as you saw, I kind of like walk down, walk all the way in the direction that I am. Your outside leg, push down, balance, step out a little. You're trying to work with the outer edges of your feet straight and your legs without bending. You step that foot in, hip distance. Push down through your right leg, step out, step in, hip distance. Things people do here is they turn their foot out. They really want to bend their knees. Push down, step out, 2 straight legs. Don't bend your knees to step in, hip distance. Press down, step out, and step in. Push down through the right leg, step out, and step into hip distance. You could even practice pushing down and slightly rotating the thigh bone as you step out and step in. Let's do one more with our right leg pushing down, step out, step into hip distance. It's okay if your steps are really small. Check the edge of the feet, left foot in particular. Push down, step out, step into hip distance. Press down and step out and into hip distance. So this is one that I do quite regularly with private clients. Sometimes we use a resistance band, and I just never thought that, oh, I should be doing this in class even if we don't have resistance band. Walking sideways is a great way to help activate some muscles that have been inactive. Breathing. Step into hip distance. Press down, step out, 2 straight legs, step into hip distance, 2 straight legs. Push down through the left hip, step out, step in, 2 straight legs, 2 straight feet. Press down, step out, step in, press down, step out, and step in. All right, so from there, face your chair. Maybe 2 towels, an extra rolled up mat, 2 blocks, whatever you have. Put the balls of your feet up, your heels down. Come into a half forward fold. Keep your hips back as you lift your heels up. So in other words, try not to do this. Keep pushing your hips back. Press equally through the balls of the feet and slowly lower down. And lift up, pressing equally through the balls of the feet. Lower down. So it gets tricky when you start working on thigh bone rotation because your thigh bone rotation might want to turn your ankles out. Piece by piece, patiently and persistently. One more like that. And then we're going to walk over to a wall and you're going to put your forearms on the wall. Walk your feet right under your hips. You can work on thigh bone rotation. Reach your right arm behind your left arm. Try to touch all your fingers to the wall. But then see how my chest is turning towards my arm? Turn your chest back towards the wall. Breathing here. And I'm going to walk my feet a little closer so that I feel like I'm being supported by my legs. Switch. Reach your left arm over, turn your chest back towards the wall, and breathing. All right, turn sideways, hand on the wall. We're going to do 3 heights just for a moment. High, middle, a little lower. So you can work on your neutral rotation the whole time. Turn your chest away from the wall. Softly drop your ear to your shoulder. Bring your head up, unwind, walk your hand a little lower. And turn your chest away a little bit, ribs relax down. Drop your ear towards your hanging arm shoulder. Bring your head up, hand a little lower. Turn your chest away, keep working on neutral thigh bones. Ear to the shoulder, and come up. Switch hands. Hand a little higher than your shoulder, feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Turn, drop your ear softly towards your hanging arm shoulder, and come up. Hand a little lower, turn, press equally through the palm of your hand, ear drops over to your shoulder. And unwind a little lower and turn, ear drops over, breathing, press equally into the palm of the hand. And unwind. Okay, bring your forearms back to the wall, feet in pretty close, maybe thigh bones rotate into neutral. Reach your right hand over and above your left hand, wiggle it over there, and breathing. The more mobile you are, like flexible, like overly flexible, the more you'll probably have to really work on your neutral alignment to build stability in your structure. If you're just stiff and you feel like you're stiff in most places, it's not accurate that you're stiff in all places. Everyone is stiff in some places, probably overly mobile in other places. Reach and wiggle your fingers over. It's not going to be as crucial for you to build that stability, but it's going to happen. Eventually your range of motion is going to start improving, and you're going to want that alignment as a tool to build balance when you have better range of motion. Good. Bring that arm down, release both arms, come on back to your chair. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Actually, yeah, let's sit down. Sit back nice and slowly. Tilt your pelvis upright, reach your arms into the air. If it's not comfortable with your hands together, put a block any width. Tap the top of your head, extend, tap, extend, tap, extend, tap, extend. Maybe stick with that and do 4 more, or tap a little lower without the head going forward. Extend without the ribs lifting up. Tap, extend, and tap, extend, tap, extend, and release your arms down. Put your block on the highest height inside your left foot, ankles and knees hip distance apart. Put your right foot up, flex your ankle. I know you can probably do over your knee, but we're going to play with the angle of the block. Hinge forward. Breathing here. Watch as your inner arch roll up towards you. Push it away so it's almost like you can't see your inner arch. And of course you're going to see it somewhat because you have the inside of your foot pointing towards you. But most of the inner arch is really on the bottom of the foot. All right, come up. Take that block with your feet hip distance, put it inside your right foot, but still put your right foot back on it. So now it's just your right leg is more out to the right, and hinge forward there. And come up, keep the block inside that foot, flex this ankle, and hinge forward there.
Sorry, I don't know that.
And come up, put the block inside your left foot with your legs hip distance apart, and put your foot up there, the same foot, and rotate forward. Good. Come on up and stretch both of your legs straight. And check the rotation of your thigh bones. It's okay if your feet turn out a little bit. Hinge forward from your hips, breathing. Good, and come on up and sit all the way back in your chair. Let your gaze soften or your eyes gently close. Become very present with your body and with your breath. Very present with your body and with your breath. Encourage new growth. We prune plants to help them survive and thrive. By removing dead or damaged leaves and cutting back branches, we can prevent disease and encourage new growth. This process is a reminder that it's possible to reshape our lives so that we can become our healthiest selves. Know that you too are free to discard any thoughts, ideas, or patterns that don't contribute to your highest good. Don't be afraid to prune the patterns and habits that no longer serve you. Encourage new growth and remember that the healthiest, happiest version of you is waiting to emerge. Bringing our hands to heart center in gratitude for the ability to prune habits and patterns that no longer serve us, in gratitude for this day. Namaste. And I have someone coming over right now, and that's why you heard our family of dogs going cuckoo. I hope you have a wonderful day.